Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, Earthlings. I hope you're all having a nice Sunday, if it's Sunday where you are. This is going to be a long one, a very long one. So I'm definitely going to set this as a premiere so we can all chat to each other in the comments, or you can chat to each other in the comments. So I have 3 subjects to talk about in this video. And Megan is only a small part, so I will deal with her first, because I know that's what the majority of you want to hear about. And then I'm going to move on to Trevor, and then I'm going to move on to Steve Skerritt. So rather than, you know, you all have, sorry, that's my ice machine. I'll just, sorry about that. Right, Megan. Now, you know that I often say, nobody tells me anything. I don't know anything. I don't have any sources, and I don't normally, but I do today. I do today. From the horse's mouth. Now, I've got to be careful how I put this, because I don't want to reveal the identity of this person. I can say that they were a long-standing and very, very experienced security personnel who was appointed to Harry and Meghan when they were in the royal family, and while they were based in the Windsor Castle estate. Let's put it that way. This person had had an illustrious career. I can't go into detail of what sort, but anybody out there who's worked as a personal protection officer for Meghan and Harry, or as an equerry — I prefer to pronounce it equerry than equerry. I feel my dad always said equerry, my mum always said equerry. I prefer to say equerry. So sorry, you're gonna have to live with that one. So anyone who's appointed as a secretary, equerry, personal protection officer, they are selected because they have had a lot of experience. They've seen a lot of stuff in life, and this particular individual had seen more than their fair share. Oops, just I should turn the Wi-Fi off before starting recording. Getting phone calls already. This person is very, very experienced. And apparently, Harry and Meghan were bloody nightmares. Her way more than him. Way more. Apparently, they were both very difficult. Chopping and changing their minds, making lots of demands, and these are my words, behaving like a pair of spoilt little brats. And as I say, she was so bad, this person they didn't actually resign. Their commanding officer removed them from the position, because I get the impression that their commanding officer felt this is an illustrious member of personnel who has done a lot in their career, and they don't need to sit here and eat that kind of shit. So they were removed and posted elsewhere where they would be appreciated. And this was just before Megxit, apparently. Now, I don't think it's giving away the person's identity if any of Harry and Meghan's staff see this video, because there's probably a list as long as a loo roll of staff they treated like that. That this is horse's mouth. This person just like, fuck this shit. Or more to the point, this person's commanding officer. This is an abuse of resources. This guy, and it was a man, doesn't need to eat this shit from these 2 idiots. So that was in the very last stages before they left the royal family. I mean, occasionally we all meet people who have worked with them. Graham's friend, Richard, who taught Graham to fly, he knows the royal family. You know, he's been on lots of shoots at Sandringham with the royal family through his girlfriend, and he said they're lovely, and he said they don't talk about Meghan and Harry. But I mean, we do come across these people. Right, so that's that one dealt with. Moving on to Trevor. Now, I am aware of the live that Trevor did last night, and I am aware he's put it to members so he can earn some money from it, because it turns out that he lent somebody else some money and that person doesn't want to pay it back. And I have seen suggestions this morning on the internet that Trevor pays YouTubers to attack other people. Well, he's never paid me any money to attack anybody. Trevor's never told me what to do with my channel. And I don't believe he's ever told anybody else what to do with their channel. I don't tell other people what to do with their channels, as you all know. In fact, I get quite a lot of shit for it, for saying it's not my business. It's not my place to tell somebody else what to do. And yet this morning I see that because Trevor has done a live and said, I lent this guy £2,000 and he now does not want to pay it back. I'm not going to name the guy. I'm not giving, even going there. That this morning it's being suggested by this guy that firstly it was a gift. Wow. And secondly, that it was hush money or money to control his channel. And then I see in his comments that apparently I'm involved. Well, I can assure you, I have not lent money to anybody. I'm not married to Trevor. Trevor is not my boyfriend. We are not business partners. Just listen to yourselves, trolls. Get a grip of yourselves. Do you know what? I've been watching this morning that ma'am video. Have any of you seen that? Where the lady goes into a GameStop shop and the guy behind the counter calls this person sir, and the person goes, absolutely wacko crazy and quite violent. And so I started watching other very similar videos of other people, this misgendering, that's the thing. And it appears to me that society has got to a stage now where a lot of these instances, and I mean they are on YouTube, they're filmed, you can see them, you can hear them. When these people are misgendered, a lot of them become violent. And what astonishes me is news stations. I mean, really, I must have been living under a rock for the last 15 years because this is all new. I've only just seen some of these videos today and they've been around a long time. It appears to me that a lot of these news stations are more worried about the person being misgendered than the acts of violence that the person creates. Oh my God. So we're in such a topsy-turvy world that a person can be violent and it's all okay because they were misgendered. And it kind of makes me think of Trevor. Trevor's been very kind to help a friend out and it's all been turned topsy-turvy and now he's the bad guy. Oh, naughty Trevor, you gave someone £2,000 and expected them to pay it back. You bastard, how dare you? Oh my God. And basically it's people who lie, twist things around and try and make things sound like they're something that they're not. Well, I don't have time for any of that bullshit. What I will say is Trevor Coult has been very kind to my family. He was my late husband's best friend. He adored Graham. And Benjamin has just had a birthday and Trevor bought Ben a watch, a pagoda watch, which is lovely of him and incredibly generous. And Ben is he's just bowled over. And I can assure you at no point has Trevor said to Ben, you better attack who I want now, I bought you a watch. Trevor hasn't said anything of the sort. So stop with that bullshit. I don't understand who these particular people are that have such boring lives. They're more worried about what Trevor's doing with his life or what I'm doing with my life or what I may have done in the past, which brings me to Steve Skerritt. Now, what's going to follow shortly is a video of me interviewing Steve Skerritt. Steve Skerritt was my arresting officer in 1999. I interviewed him in 2007. Graham and I rented an office. Graham filmed the interview. That was Graham's property, intellectual property, until he died, and that passed to me. And if anybody uses it without permission from me, I will strike your channel and most likely take legal action. Because what you're going to see is a very, very rare thing. This is let's put it succinctly. This is a conversation between an ex-fugitive and her arresting officer. And you're not going to see this kind of candid conversation happen really anywhere, very much, ever. I'm not sure it's ever happened before. I know that the Ronnie Biggs, I think Ronnie Biggs and his officer was called Slipper or something, Slipper of the Yard. I think they did do an interview together, I think. But I don't think it was candid like you're going to hear me and Steve talking about generally the criminal justice system, about the police chase, about Steve's ultimate arrest and how he left the police force. I don't think you're going to get this kind of thing come up very often. And I greatly admire Graham for filming it. And I would also like to say that I am incredibly proud of not only Graham, but both our children. And actually myself, because most relationships under normal circumstances fail and people get stressed and they break up. Graham and I had everything thrown at us. We were impoverished and living in a caravan, and we were up against Sussex police and the national press. And we stuck together and we raised two very nice, very well-rounded children. Now, a few things you're going to hear, because old Steve, he's a very unusual character and he does lie. He lies a lot. So you can all talk amongst yourselves while this, I think it's about an hour, the interview. Firstly, he does confirm I was not expelled from school. Now, why did the newspapers think I was expelled from school? Well, I had a rather nasty boyfriend at the time. And I wanted to get away from him. And I wanted to be with Graham. And I knew. I split up with this guy, but I knew as soon as he found out I was going to be with Graham, out would come the lies, out would come the shit stirring, anything to throw a spoke in the works, because that's what very, very weak people do. When they've been caught out, when they don't get what they want, they start lying and shit. Now, I had told this boyfriend of mine that I was expelled from St Mary's Hall, which is bullshit. I never was. But in those days, I used to tell one person just a little red herring and see where it came. Oh, that popped up in the newspapers straight away. This ex-boyfriend of mine phoned me up at one point when I was with Graham, and I was like, Graham, shh, it's him. And he said, where are you? Where are you? I can't find Graham and I can't find you. Where are you? You must be with him. And I said, I'm not with him. I'm not with him. And I did lie. I'm not with him. And he said, where are you? Where are you? And I said, I'm in Newcastle. And I've never been to Newcastle in my life. Well, part of the manhunt was 30 sightings in Sunderland, which is not Newcastle, but it's the northeast, really. Steve is going to go on and talk about a police officer called David West. David West was like one of these online trolls who stalks and harasses. And actually, I was invited to Hove Police Station at one point, many years before meeting Steve or Graham or anybody. And they said to me that David West had been told that he was not allowed to investigate, go near, phone me up, talk to me, stalk me, etc. He had been told, back off. So that gives you a bit, I mean, God, there's so much to this fucking story. There really is. And Steve Skerritt, during this interview, you're going to hear that he's, oh my God, he's just unbelievable. He talks about, I don't know how London ITV found out about it. I don't know anything. Well, of course, he phoned them up. And who do you think flew the plane for the reconstruction filming? Because Steve Skerritt is also a pilot. And he got himself 4 free flying hours, paid for by the TV company. Steve wanted to be famous, basically. God knows why. And at another point, he says he had no idea where I was in Spain until the day before. But later in the interview, he admits that he knew where I was for a month. So there's so much that he lies about in this, but I'll let you guys figure that out. You know, you can follow the body language and stuff. The volume's quite loud because the original volume was very low, so I've turned it right up. in DaVinci Resolve, and I can't now. The program won't let me turn it down just a little bit, so when this kicks in you might want to be ready with your volumes. I've also seen ridiculous allegations by trolls that my daddy bailed me out. Well, I was arrested in 1999 and my daddy died in 1995, so fuck me, he must be really brilliant lawyer from the grave. And my mother, who was retired in her 70s, really bullshit. Anyway, without further ado, I will let you watch this. The trolls can analyse it to death. I give up, really. I give up with humanity. It's not just the people who are physically assaulted for trying to say common sense. That's what's been happening a lot. That Charlie Kirk gentleman was murdered viciously for trying to reason with people. Believe me, in 100 years from now, the historians are going to have a fucking field day with this era of what the shitting hell has been going on. Trevor Coult is a very kind, honest man, and he lives with his heart on his sleeve. Trust me, if he phones me up and we have a chat, before I know it, he's done a video, and he's like an open book, and he repeats pretty much everything we've talked about. He's one of the least Machiavellian, manipulative people I've ever met in my life. He is an open book, but by him being kind, that's being twisted round. Now, if anyone out there wants to go along with that, yeah, be my guest, go. But I think that the rest of the people who haven't had something put in their water or lost their fucking minds, I think you might agree with me. I feel quite exhausted. I actually feel too terrified when I see a friend who's gone live. I mean, Sue was live this morning. I commented on hers. And again, I was hesitant. Should I comment? I'm beginning to feel too scared to even comment. I'm beginning to feel too scared to make videos because the lunacy that is coming after people, YouTubers, it's fucking crazy. It is fucked up and it is crazy, and pardon my French, but there just is no other way to express it. It's like dishonesty rules. Oh, and before you see this interview, I'll tell you what I think, and I think I'm entitled to say this. My best friend at the time, Tyrone, had come to live with me and Graham in Spain. We gave him a caravan to live in, we gave him money. Graham paid for a new passport, which was sent out to us. Graham paid for his flight back to the UK. He was just as wanted as me, apparently. He went back to the UK, he walked straight through immigration, and about 2 weeks later, I was arrested in Spain. So I think I'm pretty certain who gave away my location with Graham and our baby daughter. After we had paid for months, we paid for his caravan rent, we paid for his food, we gave him a car, good God. We paid for his flight, we paid for his passport, we did everything for him. But he needed a get out of jail free card. How honourable. And he was never arrested or interviewed. Make what you will of it. I've been trying to figure this puzzle out for nigh on 20 years, and I can't get to the bottom of it either. Just seems to me, the theme of my life has been guilt by association. Trevor's done something nice, but then they decide he's done something bad, and because I'm his friend, I'm guilt by association. All this stuff, as you will hear from Steve Skerritt, is very much guilt by association. Well, never mind. I just think it doesn't pay, to be honest. I don't honestly think that those of us that do throw our hands in the air and go, you know, yeah, whatever. Wham, wham, boy, you're the one that gets hammered down. Whereas the liar just walks free. Yeah, and I honestly don't know why these trolls are so interested in my life. Get a life of your own, for fuck's sake. Thank you very much for listening, liking, subscribing, disliking. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. May your God be with you, and I hope you enjoy the show to follow. Unique, sitting talking to you under these circumstances when there was a time when you'd nicked me.
But that's what I did.
Yeah.
That was my trouble.
The reason I want to do it is because I'm so sick and tired of seeing images of criminals in the media and all coppers are shiny and perfect.
No, all coppers aren't shiny and perfect. Let me tell you why you have this reputation now.
Yeah, tell me.
So I'll tell you.
What is it with the police? Because I'm not the naughtiest person you've ever met in your life.
Definitely
am I?
not,
I can't
definitely
because
not.
I've met naughtier. What is their beef about me?
The beef about you was that before I ever knew you or came across you, you were known as the person that took the rise out of Sussex Police.
Right.
Okay? There'd been reports, intelligence reports about you actually taking the mick out of officers.
Yeah, in what way?
In that you thought you were too clever. They suspected you of not serious stuff, but bits and bobs. But you always played the "you can't catch me" sort of card. I'm too good for you. Whether that's true or not,
no, but
I don't
that's
know.
what they thought. That's what
they
I'm
thought.
interested in. What their perspective
So,
was.
as far as Sussex Police were concerned, Fiona was this above the sort of radar, can't touch her
Right.
thing. That is nothing to do with me, actually, and nothing to do with what happened.
Would that have come from the faxes that were sent to David West
Possibly.
and the?
Yeah, possibly.
Do you think a lot of it could have come from
Of course
him?
it was, yeah.
Because I used to meet coppers, and when I was in the cells, there always seemed to be a gathering of quite a lot of them coming down just to watch, and a few would crack on they knew me, like we'd met, and I don't know if we had, but I was pretty certain that I'd never met them.
No, so basically...
So it did seem that there was gossip going on, there was...
Yeah, and then when I came across you and we started this investigation, that all came out very quickly, because obviously the background checks on you showed that.
Right.
That was nothing to do with what eventually happened with the media. You disappearing on me was what caused the media interest. And that was mine.
Because it was some months after I'd gone.
Yeah, that was me.
I wasn't till the
Because-
summer, because I left at Christmas time, and
Yeah.
the media didn't pick it up until the summertime. But I remember distinctly saying to you, "You're not going to go on Crime Watch with this, are you?" Do you remember?
No, I don't.
And you said, "Oh, I don't think it will come to that."
No, I don't actually see. We're going back sort of 5. No, we're going back. Jeepers, 7 years, aren't we? So some of the.
Well, in
bits
those
of
days you were
hazy-
interviewing people and
Yeah, I was.
threatening them a lot. So I mean, to you it was an everyday thing. To me,
No, I wasn't.
being on the receiving end of that, I tended to sort of remember every word you said.
I think with you, it was always going to be difficult. You were always very confident. You obviously thought whatever happened, you'd be okay. I think.
Well, that was the impression I was trying to put across.
Of course it was.
because
I know. So yeah, that's
you don't go
No, you don't.
like that.
So you're a very
copper.
confident person who's very, in a way, a bit like how I approach things. You actually take it to them and say, "Go and prove it," or if I've done this, then let me know. You're also working behind the scenes to try and make sure that whatever we did do couldn't be proved, which is fine. I'd have done the same thing. Okay, I would have done the same thing. So there was a little bit of a professional objective.
Right. If you could get this point scored.
Yeah, nothing to do with points. I mean, I'd been doing this job for too long to
How
score
long
points.
were you a copper?
Then I'd been, jeepers, 24, 25 years.
Really?
So it wasn't point scoring, it was you. You were sort of setting up a sort of challenge, and to me that was...
Really?
That was
Because I wasn't.
No.
It's interesting that's
No.
that's talk about a breakdown
Yeah.
in communication. That's how.
Well, we weren't communicating
coming
because you
in.
weren't talking to me.
No, well, I never did. I mean, you always
So-
go no comment in an interview. Anyone worth their salt will tell you that.
Possibly.
But
But anyway,
silent.
or silent. So there was this little bit of a, and then obviously I went out and I gathered my evidence, or evidence that I thought was sufficient
My evidence,
to do what
yeah.
you did, and then you disappeared, and we can go through that disappearance later on if you want to, and what happened with the car and beach all that sort of stuff. So I'm left with you disappeared, and me sitting there with egg on my face.
But you knew I was going before I went.
I didn't. I seriously did not. I didn't think you would actually. I thought you.
Well, my car was on top on the 15th of December, but I didn't leave for a few days.
No.
After that.
But we thought.
And it did say in the media that you were frustrated because there was nothing you could do because I wasn't due to surrender bail till the
January.
12th of January.
That's
So
right.
you knew
I had to wait until the 12th of January. I had to
see
wait
if I turned up.
until the 12th of January to see if you turned
Because
up.
I could have just gone away for Christmas.
Yeah. And you didn't turn up. So then what happens, we then circulated you as wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
Well,
how
I
it
didn't
started.
turn up because I'd heard there was a kerfuffle going on.
So, you're wanted, and I'm sitting there with a big file on my desk. I've got Adrian bloody Matthews on bail. Tyrone Bishop's now in a French prison, I believe, or nearly there.
That's
Can't
right, you
remember.
told me that it was West who told you that he'd been nicked in France.
No, I was told not to pursue, but when we were actively investigating
Were you told to stay away from Tyrone?
Why?
Right.
Because he was being watched.
Right.
Okay. So I was told to stay away from him, and that was not very good for my investigation, because although we found that computer in your bedroom, yeah, we knew it was Tyrone Bishop's computer.
Right.
Okay, because it was quite clear it was Tyrone Bishop's computer. So I needed him. You were on bail. We put you on that lineup and witnesses and stuff. So the evidence was coming in, but I really needed to see Tyrone Bishop. Really, before I even dealt with you.
And what about Adrian? Was he talking?
Adrian wasn't talking. He was saying nothing.
At
But
that
Adrian,
stage.
I got Adrian on one thing, and I thought, at the end of the day, if we pursued you and Tyrone, he'd come into the mix.
Right.
But, and I'm not going to believe this, when you disappeared and I couldn't get hold of Bishop, Matthews would never have stood on his own.
Yeah.
CPS would not have run it on his own.
He was supplying all sorts of things to the media.
He wasn't
And I
supplying
know-
anything to me.
Well, I know he was. He was
What?
saying things to you, like I got expelled from school. Where did you get that?
Oh, that
from?
was off interview. That was not on interview. That was when I was trying to get him to talk to me. He was telling me little things, you know.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
what
I know
about
he
you?
was. I know he was because I wasn't well, you know, I wasn't expelled, but I know because
Yeah.
the things that were in the media, I thought that's interesting because that's what I told him.
Was it?
I mean, it's neither here nor there. I'm not going on a witch hunt or pointing
No,
any
no.
fingers, but
So you've gone. You're in. Well, we don't know you're in Holland, but you've disappeared. And I'm sitting there with Matthews on bail and.
what made you
Bishop.
take it to the media?
Well, I'm sitting there and the file's there. Now you do one of two things, right? Obviously you don't know how we work, but you either put it away and say one day she'll turn up.
Life warrant, yeah.
Life
And
warrant,
then
she'll
it'll
turn up.
catch
When you
by
come back in the
surprise.
country, get in.
That's what I thought you'd do.
But there's a problem with that. We had all this computer equipment. We had live, owners. We had live witnesses. That as time moves on, they disappear. They forget. You hadn't been interviewed about that yet because you were going to come back to be further put to you certain
Yeah.
things, and I hadn't had the chance to do that. So whatever happened, you're going to have to be interviewed again. Witnesses might have to be called, and time would go on, and you disappeared. And I didn't know where you'd gone. Or the indications were that you weren't coming back. So I'm sitting there. Dave West and I are chatting.
Oh, you were working with him?
Oh, of course
then?
I was, yeah. Because he had a lot of information on you.
Bet he did. Bet he did. Bet he's got filing cabinets. Or
He
did
had a lot of
I bet it's all
information.
been shredded and all at headquarters
Well, I
by
don't know.
now.
Had a lot of information on you, so I was dealing with him. Obviously, we were trying to find you locally.
Was there anyone else you were dealing with?
No.
Just
not
him?
regard to you. And we're sitting there, and you get to a point where you say, goes to bed. Finished? But it wasn't anywhere near finished. You know what I mean? It was a
You
possibility.
couldn't let it go. That's what
No,
you
so there's
mean.
two things. There was a possibility that if you didn't come, if I didn't get hold of you soon, it was going to go. It wasn't going to go, which meant that all that work was going to go to waste anyway. Or I try and find you. Now, how do I try and find you? Very difficult. So with
No one knew anything, so there wasn't a grass around. Which is what you'd normally go for,
there were
isn't
a
it?
few
'Cause it is
people-
easy. Come on. From a copper's point of view, what's the most useful tool?
no, of course it is.
The grass.
Information.
Yeah.
Information. How do you get information? You go down the airport, from airport, nobody will talk to you. believe
They
it or
didn't
not.
know anything though. They
No,
genuinely didn't
no,
know.
but they still won't talk to you. You know, it's like anything else. With your so-called intelligent history and your family, yeah, which was documented. It was actually Simon. So look, Simon Harsley.
Oh right.
We've
I
got
don't know him.
No, he was involved at the time. I said we need to get this advertised. At the time, Crime Watch was coming to Sussex Police and all the forces saying, "You've got any stories to put on Crime Watch?" Blah blah blah. And I put you forward. Crime Watch.
Then the Daily Mail picked it up.
No, it wasn't Daily Mail. I think Daily Mail might have picked it up on Crime Watch. Yeah.
Right.
But at the same time we did Crime Watch, London Weekend Television came to us.
Right.
And I don't know how they found out, but they said, we're running a Britain's Most Wanted programme, and your story or your investigation might fit that. And it was them that actually took it forward, more than Crime Watch. And then we had a whole film crew down there. The stunt of flying off from Shoreham Airport. This business with you, with a glass. Did you see you with a glass of wine?
Yeah, I did.
This came out through 3 hours of chat before we filmed. No, Graham will tell you.
Yeah.
Filming now.
Yeah.
3 hours of chat. About, and of course, you know when we had
I bet
the
you'd said
container-
all like dead serious things.
No, I did.
And then they got the smiley
Yes,
faces
sir.
and the wigs and went, gotcha.
No, well, yeah, this is it. So when we got to the smiley faces,
I bet that was at the end when you were starting to relax a bit and you're having a bit of a giggle with them and they're making you
That's it,
think
yeah.
that they're your friend and all. Yeah.
the smiley faces was what did it, because I said we got this container, found the smiley faces, and then I had a phone. You phoned me.
Yeah, I was drunk.
Remember? You were
yeah,
drunk.
I was drunk.
And you
because
were drunk.
I knew you couldn't come and nick me.
No, you
if
were
I was,
drunk.
Well, you could have done, but it would have been a waste of time and a jailer wouldn't have liked having
So
a
you-
drunk in the cell.
Yeah. So you phoned me, and you were drunk, and you were taking the piss, right? Which is fine.
And that's when I said, why don't you come round for
Glass
a
of wine.
glass of wine?
And I
I'm
was-
glad you remember
And I
that.
was sitting here saying that to her. You see, I said, look, I found these bloody, it was empty smiley faces. I said, and then I said, I get a phone call. We're having a chat. She's obviously been drinking. I said, and she invites me around for a glass of wine. Which is absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with the inquiry. And then all of a sudden, when it gets to the filming,
Yeah.
she asked me that. So I recite it again
Yeah.
in the way that we did, and then that gets edited, chopped and chopped, and then there's you, a picture of a glass of wine by a window.
That's right, yeah.
sorting it out.
Yeah.
So that's where that came. And then that programme went out, and it was a 5-minute piece on
Oh,
London
it's a bit
weekends.
longer than that. Yeah, no, I
Was
remember
it?
because I was absorbing all the horrors of it at the time, and it was the second half of the programme, which was 15 minutes. And
Yeah.
when I heard David West's voice on it, I thought, well, I'm done for because it's two of them, worst enemies. Sitting there.
And that's actually what kicked it all off. And then we started to get
But
reports.
how did you get him to agree to go on that?
Who, David West?
Yeah, because when I saw it, I reckon that's when he backed off. I reckon he would have seen himself on that and he wouldn't have liked it. He's a very sort of Quakerish kind of person,
No,
isn't he?
he's quite insular, but
Insular.
but no, that was it. And then all of a sudden, I'm sitting there, and then we had an incident. Then suddenly the phone call started flowing.
30
Lots.
sightings in Sunderland.
Yeah, lots of them.
Yeah, we did laugh about that. I remember
Lots of
Graham
rubbish.
saying, I can just see his face now, no, another one in Sunderland. I've only just got back.
But then I was taken over because the whole of Sussex police hierarchy were watching. Yeah, whenever you get publicity on a TV programme,
They fear embarrassment.
they do. So what you've got the problem with, it's now out there in the public, and we're getting information, but Sussex police are now in the spotlight. So
Pressure from the media.
Yeah, it's everything we do. Then Daily Mail comes, Steve Wright comes on board.
What is he like as a person, from what you can deduce?
Cold, calculating, do anything for a story.
Really? So he really is horrible? Because I've sort of thought, well, maybe
Now,
he's not. Maybe he's not.
he will be as nice as you until he gets what he wants. And
Right.
once he's got what he wants, then you're nothing to him anymore.
Right.
And that's why he's good
Do
at
you
his job.
think? Yeah. Do you think it's just that he's doing his job, or do you think he actually holds the values of the Daily Mail? You know,
He's doing his job.
you just think he's doing his job. He's an unprincipled,
I don't think there's any journalist.
or he doesn't care
Well,
one way or the
I can't-
other. He's just
you know,
doing.
I can't say any journalist. I'd say that there's not many journalists at principle because they're after the story.
Yeah.
That's their job.
I used to think that, but I think it's a minority that are
What?
like that. Journalists, because I mean, even people on the TV who interview people, I think most of them are all right actually. Over the years, watching it, and I've read some good articles in newspapers, so I don't think it's all of them. But I used to think it was all of them. Little bastards.
The Daily Mail was after the glamour story. They wanted your arrest.
They never made it seem very glamorous.
No, they wanted your arrest on film
Right.
from the start.
Yeah.
That's all they wanted.
Yeah, it was a bit of a witch hunt.
Mhm.
So anyway, you turned up in Spain and
Very good. You got that in quite well. It's quite nice. It was a bit yeah. As far as they were concerned, they would have done anything to help me catch you.
yeah.
Because
So
they'd
what
started the
point did you
story.
feel it had changed? It had gone from being a police investigation to a media witch hunt. At what point did you think, oh, No.
I blame Sussex Police for that, because when I received the information of your whereabouts in Spain, I went to the bosses and said, look, I've got this chap here, he's going to give us some information, he wants paying. He's not paying, I'm not going to give any information. I said, well hang on, you can't have it always, you can't expose me and Sussex Police to the media and to the public and say we need to catch Fiona Mon. She's a danger to all.
It is a bit the way they were going on,
precisely.
wasn't it? As if I was
I said, and then when I get opportunity to maybe locate her and put an end to this and finish it, you tell me I can't do what?
Well, they wouldn't give 1 pence of public money.
Yes, they do. They give money to informants all the time.
Do they?
Yeah.
How much does an informer get then?
I can't.
No, go on. You can.
It depends.
Of course you
It
can.
depends on the seriousness of the crime. If
What's the most you've ever heard of?
£2,000.
£2,000. That's not that much.
No, that's what I mean. It's not that much, but
So what was it? £6,000 this
no,
one?
three. So in the scheme of things, you were public enemy number one. I don't know why, I don't know. It was bloody computers and a few bits and bobs, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
But you were now public enemy number one. All over the papers and the internet and TV. We can find you, yeah, because this bloke was quite convincing. And we're not going to spend another. Jesus, we spent hundreds of thousands of pounds on the investigations to date.
Had you?
Yeah, what
What on?
just everything goes on overtime, trips, investigation. You
Trips
sit
to
down.
Sunderland.
Liverpool.
Liverpool? What did you go up to Liverpool for?
Tell you about that in a minute.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Go on. Not to mention Rochdale. I'm only teasing.
Was that your house? Rochdale. Where's Rochdale?
Ex-wife.
Sorry?
Ex-wife.
Where's Rochdale?
No.
And you're into football. How many times have Brighton played Rochdale?
I don't talk about it. Tottenham Hotspur.
All right.
Anyway, so and they said no. So I was left again with another choice: pressure to catch you now, not my pressure, their pressure. Chance to catch you, nowhere to go. So I phoned up Steve Wright and said, "This is the situation." I said, "We have an informant. We won't. He wants money. We're not going to pay him. But obviously, if you were the informant, Daily Mail, and you don't want money,
Right.
then I don't, need to know the
How quickly did
information."
they agree to pay? Was it like Daily Mail? Did they go, yeah, no problem? Really?
Instant.
Really?
So I gave Steve Wright.
How did you know, or how would they know, that the information was good? It could have been someone making it up, or it could have been someone who thought it was me and it turned out to be another girl. How did you establish it really was me?
The person who knew your location, without prompting, knew Tyrone Bishop's location.
He knew Tyrone Bishop's location as well.
Well, he knew that Tyrone Bishop was with Graham and you.
Right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but
He
all the
did.
same, they still could have been making it up.
Yeah, but you've got to make a judgment call, Fiona. This sounded...
Yeah, but the Daily Mail must have thought, no, I want something, how do we definitely know it's
No,
her?
they obviously asked my opinion. I said, I think it's genuine. I think...
And they went with that, £3,000.
Of course they will. £3,000 was nothing.
I know, but it's a matter of pride, isn't it? What if they'd turned up
Doesn't
and it wasn't
matter.
me?
They spend-
and there'd be
they
someone laughing all the way to the bank.
They spend that 50 times over every week.
Yeah, I know.
On similar stuff.
On their shares.
Doesn't
mostly.
matter. Doesn't
Trying
matter.
to prop the value
you made
up.
me coffee. Very nice. Thank you very much. So what I did, I came to a private arrangement with Steve Wright that he...
Did the police know
No.
that you'd done that, right?
No.
So
No.
you must have been really
Some-
ticked off with your superiors to sort of do that.
No, my supervisor knew.
Right.
And really, I wasn't doing anything wrong.
Did David West know about any of this?
No, so all I did was I gave Steve Wright, I said, Steve Wright, there's a phone number here. Phone this bloke, he's called Bob. Right?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, go on with
no,
that.
he's got information.
I believe you.
He's got information about the whereabouts of Fiona Mont. We can't deal with this person. I've been told we can't. He wants
Right.
money. Whatever you do, obviously, I'll treat you now as the informant. Which actually is nothing wrong with that at all. It's you can.
It's not against the rules.
Sussex Police
Well,
might
to
not
be
have
fair
liked it
to
too
you,
much.
I didn't see your kipper on the news after I'd been arrested in Spain. It was Johns, DCI Johns. Never ever met him.
No, he
No
was
idea who he is.
he was the inspector at the time.
So I mean, he was quite happy to put his face on the telly. So it can't have been. They can't have been that angry with you that you'd done that.
No. But
They must have
didn't-
fully supported you. so.
They knew that, they didn't know officially that I'd done that. They knew that I'd done that.
Right.
So now, obviously, every time Steve Wright contacts me, I now put in what we call a confidential information form into the system, and I'm treating him as the informant.
Right.
So everything we got from there forward till we saw you at the campsite came from Steve Wright.
Right. Officially.
No, I don't think I had no further dealings with Bob, because obviously whatever arrangements Steve Wright had with Bob over the payment and the story that was going to come out of it as well, I don't know.
Why didn't they come and get a picture of me the night before? Because I had a photographer there who had a little fight with Graham. I wonder why they never got a picture of me before.
We arrived the day before.
Because they could have got me with all my hair sticking out, dressing gown, walking around in the morning, couldn't they? Going, oh, look at her, thinks she's something. But they never did.
He went out the night before.
It's almost as if they didn't have a clue where I was until I got arrested.
No, he knew, because we were in the hotel, the photographer went off, came back a couple of hours later and says, I found the caravan. I think he couldn't see you, or he found out from somebody there that you were there. The information,
I can tell you now, there were a lot of growlers on the campsite up to 3 days before. I mean, proper growlers from the UK, like coppers, like journalists. Never had any problem with anybody on the campsite. Then suddenly all these demons are popping up.
No, now we're sitting here talking on film, aren't we? And you can do this occasionally and say that. I tell you now, we flew over the day before, went to the hotel, met Steve Wright and the photographer.
I'm not that.
No,
bothered.
but nobody else knew, because we didn't know until that evening, officially or properly, that you were there.
They must have just been grumpy campers then.
Possibly. I know some grumpy campers did confirm you were there to the photographer.
Did they? Why were the campers grumpy?
I don't know. You said they were grumpy, I didn't see.
Oh, right. Oh, I see. I thought you meant some grumpy campers had gone up to the Daily Mail and gone,
No,
I'm glad you got rid of her, she makes a lot of noise.
No. So we got told, yes, she's in situ. We arranged with the Spanish inspector and agreed a time to meet in the morning.
Right.
Then we turn up, come straight to you, and the rest you know.
Yeah. Who were the two guys in the baseball caps and the false beards?
Steve Wright and the photographer.
Oh, right. Oh, I didn't know. I thought you were with the photographer and...
Yeah, there was...
Did he have a fake beard and a baseball cap?
There were four of us, wasn't there?
There was a tall guy as well who was driving that car that you were in.
Was that the police
He was
inspector?
carrying the lenses, wasn't he? Oh, he was with Daily Mail.
Yeah.
Really tall guy.
Yeah.
But there were two others that we didn't...
Anyway,
that's
neither here nor there. Obviously what happened is the British CPS never did file the proper paperwork because it never arrived.
It's typical, isn't it?
So they decided it was a no-go. At what point did you find that out?
It was a
no-go. You must have been quite pleased as punch that you'd got me arrested, and then to hear that.
Not really. Actually, I was there, and yes, there was...
You must have sort of felt that's a result.
No, you set down the challenge, and I was going to meet it at some time, and I met the challenge.
That's what you felt.
That's what I felt.
That I'd laid down a challenge. And what did I do to make you think I was challenging you?
You were very confident, and very extrovert.
I know, but I mean, you hadn't seen me for over a year.
No, but I mean before. The challenge was set when you left.
Right.
Okay, that challenge stayed with me. I went public, and now I've got the spotlight on me.
Right.
Okay, so I'm expected to get a result.
Right.
Okay, so I can never forget from the moment that you left to the moment we went on TV to the moment I saw you in Spain. I was never allowed to even forget that there was an investigation going on. I had news, I had papers, I had reporters, I had governors.
And do you think that the way the media were portraying me was colouring your judgment as well about what sort of person I was?
Never. I knew who you were. The day we searched your flat, and I let you go out to buy some milk.
Yeah, you did. Do you know, I'd forgotten
Who does that? Who does that?
I'd forgot. I know you let us go out in the garden to have chats, which I thought was... Why did you let me do that?
Well, why not?
Well, on reflection, after all this, I mean...
No. Yeah. What are you going to do? Now, look.
Yes, I'd forgotten.
The way I investigate things...
Mind you, I couldn't have made all that tea and coffee.
No, you're very good, so you went to get the milk. So, if I'm going to treat you as a hardened, violent, unsafe criminal, A, I'm not going to let you wander around the flat in your dressing gown. B, I'm not going to let you wander out into the garden to chat with Adrian. And C, I'm not going to let you walk down to the local shops when you're under arrest.
We could have been eating paper and stuff, couldn't we? Could have been consuming evidence for you.
Exactly. So you've got to see the way that I look at things as well. I mean, I never saw you as a danger to the public. I saw you as a clever fraudster. Okay. I did.
Yeah, well, that's how you saw me. It doesn't mean that doesn't make me one.
Of course it doesn't, I know. I saw you as a clever fraudster and quite a sort of, what they call them, a worthwhile...
Nicking.
No, not nicking. A worthwhile challenge. Normally you deal with unintelligent, drugged up.
Do you think?
Yeah.
No, most people that you...
Yeah, no, most people that commit what I call crime, yeah, the people that commit financial crime are actually fairly intelligent, sometimes very intelligent, who'd put a lot of effort and work into it, yeah, and treat the banks, insurance companies and credit card companies as thieves themselves, because they are, most of them, aren't they? I mean, the way they charge you, you know...
Tell me about it, right. I know.
So they find ways to combat and defraud these people. Now that's a crime, okay? And I'm a police officer, so even though I might look at it in a different way, I still have a job to do. You were perceived or alleged to be one of those type of people, right? So if I'm dealing with a violent drug addict, a burglar, or somebody that's assaulted somebody, he gets dealt with in a different way.
Yeah.
If I'm dealing with a sophisticated, fairly, hopefully intelligent woman who is alleged to be a fraudster, who carries a briefcase and goes around selling computers to people, yeah, through her own little business, I'm going to treat her a different way, and I treated you in that way. Believe it or not, I did.
do. I remember when we went down to Brighton and we were all put in that horrible box where you booked in and processed. There was another lad who was with a copper, and he was all cuffed behind his back, and he moaned and said, "How come those two haven't got cuffs on?" Yeah.
So you got to understand.
So you're saying in all your years in the police, the majority of people that you dealt with that were suspects are a bit thick.
Yeah, of course they are.
Are they?
That's why they get caught.
Do you think they're damaged people? I mean, do you think, in your heart of hearts, do you think they break the law because they're genuinely evil and they like breaking the law, or do you think they've been a bit damaged and something's gone wrong?
People do things for all different reasons, Fiona. I tell you now, the Sussex Police boast.
Oh no, I didn't turn my phone off.
Look, where was I? I think, yeah.
What are most people like that are arrested?
Most people, you see, people have got this feeling or impression that the police do a fantastic job, right? Some police do, right? There's policemen out there that are good at their job. They are wily, yeah, because you have to be wily. You have to be, you have to actually think like the way that people that commit offences do,
Yeah.
to catch them.
What is that person doing outside? Changing the photocopier.
Changing the bins, I think.
Got the bins outside.
Right. You said to me that if you hadn't been a copper, you would have been a villain.
Definitely.
So do you think that there's not that much difference between coppers and villains?
No. What you've got society and laws, and you've got people make laws for reasons, and the reason is to have some sort of structure for people to sort of live by. There's boundaries set, and you either accept those boundaries or you don't. There's different types of crime, though. You see, I consider what you were alleged to have done as not acceptable, but in the great scheme of things, not that serious. Value-wise, it was. See, people put a lot of emphasis on value.
Yeah, talking of value.
Now, I know.
Yeah, you know what question I'm going to ask.
But let me finish. 300,000 was some figure that was arrived at, and again, if you ask me how now, I'm going to say actually I don't know. It's just on the value of people, what people have said, and the complainants. But so yeah, we can talk about that later. So because it's £300,000, yeah, you are deemed important, right? Some bloke can go and mug an old lady and nick a £60 pension, and it's just another mugging.
When the Maxwells had their problem, they formed the SFO, didn't they?
Yeah.
And didn't they say that a case had to be 300,000 or over
I don't
to
know.
qualify?
Don't know. For serious fraud, no, it's more like 2 or 3 million now.
Well, it would be now with inflation, wouldn't it?
So I've got I enjoy financial crime. Okay.
Was that what you were doing?
No,
financial crime?
I was doing burglaries, murders, you name it, I do it. But I enjoy financial deceptions and stuff like that. It was
Do you?
very.
You do a lot of them.
I do. Investigated a lot of them.
Wonder you moved to South Africa. Been wanting a bank account.
Don't tell everybody. Cut that bit. No, South
I'd be a
Africa.
bit
Cut that bit.
surprised.
No, so I've got a different view of things like that. But I tell you now, the people that are your normal, everyday, decent oak, yeah, an oak is a person who suddenly finds himself in trouble for whatever reason and decides, for whatever reason, that he needs to do some things against the law.
Like
Because
armed robbery. Well, that's what I think. A lot of people who've never broken the law, they go borrowing, they've released equity from
That's
their
it,
house,
that's
they
it.
need the repayments, and that's the first crime they think of is armed robbery.
Yeah, possibly, but there's other
Don't
things.
you think, oh, I used to have a scanner, I used to listen, I've talked to people.
Yeah, okay. Well, the point I'm trying to make is that those people go and commit this crime, yeah, and normally don't do it very well, and normally get caught. When they get caught, because they're nice, decent people, they say, I did it. Now you talk about, most people say nothing when they come into the police station. No comment.
I had been arrested for a lot of different things,
Yeah.
a lot of different times.
No comment.
And
actually,
I worked it out once. I'd done about 2 months, the equivalent of 2 months if I'd been sentenced by a judge. I'd done a solid month in the cells in all the years that I'd been dealing with Sussex Police.
So there you go. So you don't
And
say
a lot
anything.
of the time I hadn't,
Done
well
anything.
actually all of the time I hadn't done anything
Shit
wrong.
happened.
And that's a solicitor's advice, and it's very good advice.
But people that have got a conscience, that don't actually think, and I'm not saying that you haven't got a conscience, but actually don't think about committing crime but then commit it, when they get caught, are very keen.
So if someone goes no comment, you're saying you instantly think they're up to no good, they're hiding something.
No, because again, if they get the proper advice from a solicitor, yeah, even if the solicitor, the solicitor, if the person tells the solicitor he's committed the crime, yeah, then he has to give them 2 bits of advice. Say nothing, unless you're right in law, or tell them what happened. And see if you can. Or say nothing, and let's wait to see what other evidence they've got.
You can't do that these days, though, can you?
You
Because
can.
you can be criticised. Yeah, well, you can, but you can be criticised later.
Yeah, what's that? But to be honest with you, that never really happens. So you get the chap come in, just wants to say, look, I did it. I've got no money, my wife's in hospital, my kids are doing this, I've got no money. And bang, they get charged for serious offence.
Do a lot do that?
You know the ones who what I consider to be conscientious people that have just fallen into trouble, and you know the ones that are career criminals.
Career criminals.
And career criminals know the game, they play the system, they know how to stall, delay, and often win, because CPS, the authorities, are not equipped to deal properly with those people.
You mean they don't have enough money, or they don't go about it
They haven't got enough
rightly?
skill.
Right.
And what they've done over the years, they've tied the hands of the investigating officers, in some cases quite rightly. You go back to the 70s and the 80s, where they used to put all sorts of different strokes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all pre-paces.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
you'd have beatings in the cells and false
yeah, well,
confessions
whatever.
signed.
Yeah,
and
whatever. So,
But then they brought out the Criminal Justice Act 1994, which took a lot of it away. Like this, you can be criticised for going silent.
you can only be criticised for going silent if you are charged and there's other evidence that is brought to light. Yeah.
But the caution changed, didn't it?
Yeah. But again, you can go to court if you say nothing and you get charged. There's obviously other evidence. There must be. So what a judge can now do is tell the jury, yeah, that you were asked questions and you exercised your right to say no comment. Jury, you may draw an inference from that if you wish,
Well, they would, wouldn't they?
but they would anyway, Fiona.
You
See,
think?
yeah, of course they would. You get 12 good men sitting in there, and we interviewed, let's say you interviewed Fiona Mont, and she said absolutely nothing. She was asked this, explain that, and she said nothing. What's the jury going to think? Why didn't you explain? Why didn't you say, well, I didn't do that, or that's not right, or that couldn't have happened?
Because it wasn't that straightforward. For a start, you just don't go around grassing people up. And
no, whatever.
For a start, it doesn't help.
I'm not saying.
But no,
doesn't help.
So you see, there can be an explanation to it.
Of course there can. It doesn't help. You're right. But therefore, when you go to court, and if you go to court, and somebody may criticise that decision, then that's their right to. And the judge will say to them, in law, that person has no obligation to answer those questions. You may feel that under these circumstances, or this circumstances, she or he should have offered an explanation.
Yeah, when you get to court, you've got the chance to stand up in the witness box yourself and say anything. Of
course you have. So actually, this 1994, it hasn't changed much at all.
You don't think that's helped the police at all?
Of course it hasn't.
So 24 years. How old would you have been when you started?
I joined when I was 19.
19. So you went into that organisation completely young and naive with no experience of life. So your whole format, your personality, all your opinions would have been formed by living within that womb of the police, wouldn't it? All your friends and your social life, everything.
No, actually, see, that's what normally happens.
Right, that didn't happen.
Not to me.
That explains a lot to me.
No,
I never met a copper like you.
No, not to me. I was never like that. I was always, my friends were not police officers. I was outside police. I had one or two. I still had one or two. But the majority of my friends are outside the police. My problem is, nobody's ever been able to tell me what I can and can't do. I've always done it myself. Within certain guidelines. I'm not being sort of, I'm not saying that I don't, but I've always had...
Sounds like me.
I've always had a way of doing things.
Yeah.
And I decide. If somebody's going to give me the responsibility of investigation, or this, that and the other, then I've got to keep within the bounds of the law. Yeah. Policy's a different thing. Sussex Police is full of policies.
Yeah, can believe it.
Jesus, I mean, you can't do... Well, they are strangling how people do things. So occasionally, yes, I bend the policy. I do things differently. Steve Wright is a
right. What's David West like? Is he a rule bender or dead straight?
Straight as a die.
Is he? Bit of a robot, isn't he?
Most of them are.
Yeah.
That's the trouble. So, you would have been, if you'd had anybody else dealing with this case, you'd have been finished, gone. You'd have walked all over them and you'd have disappeared.
That was the plan, yeah.
Unfortunately, you had me. But what you must understand...
You wouldn't have put your back into it as much if it hadn't have been for those smiley faces, would you?
Yeah. Seriously, I laughed. Danny, you've got to understand this, right? When I
can just see that.
No, I was pissed off. I'm not going to say what...
They weren't directed at you,
No, that's fine.
Jeremy.
Of course there was.
Oh, couldn't stand him. You had taken the key. We needed to get...
Of course you did.
I needed to clear things out.
Of course you did.
And he gave me this big fat lecture about losing the key. How could I be so careless? I couldn't tell him where the key really was. Had to get a spare one car. He's going to fine us. Fine you £50. And he did my head in. And I could see him. Oh, I've got the key, officer. Yes, officer. No, officer. So they were directed at him, not you.
No, that's fine.
The fact that you were going to be there and out in the middle of nowhere.
Look, it was a game.
How did you get into them in the end? Did you just wrench them off with them?
No, we took some cutters, I think. Right. Took some cutters and got in there. But it was a lot. Actually, I smiled. I thought, okay. And we found out that
when you saw there were different locks, you thought,
yeah, and
there's bound to be something in there.
And then we found that the truck had left the morning. I forget now. I can't the details. The day before or the morning before. Van had turned up.
Did you hire a van especially for that occasion? You didn't.
No, but you turned up, or somebody had turned up and cleared it out the day before, or the day of. I can't remember. Day before, and we knew who the giant we'd identified because people had seen them there, so we knew that. I think Adrian Matthews was one of them.
Right.
Possibly Torrin Bishop. I don't know.
It was just a load of rubbish that was in there that I had to tidy up.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
No, really, it was.
No.
Well, whatever you say or I say, no one's going to know now, are they?
But whatever. The fact is that
That must have made you more determined. No. There must have been other officers there.
Yeah. No, I didn't. See, you've got to understand my character. The worst part of this investigation was seeing you arrested. for me.
In Spain? Yeah, that was nasty business.
It was. But that was the worst bit for me. And I wasn't there, I walked off. I didn't stay. I wasn't going to get involved in the arrest anyway. That was the worst bit for me, because even though you'd been on the run...
That wasn't the worst of it. You should have seen the cell they put me in. I got head lice from the blankets in there.
Yeah. For 2 years I'd chased you across Europe, you know, allegedly chased you across Europe. Okay, and it couldn't have been easy for you as well. You must have been on the run the whole time looking over your shoulder.
No, a lot of the time it wasn't really as if we were on the run. Now you're living abroad. You know what it's like. When everybody in this country thinks that the whole world is looking at this country, when you're outside of this country, no one's taking any notice. They don't read the Daily Mail. They don't watch Crime Watch. They don't. So a lot of the time, it was only sort of ringing home to see how things were, or then I'd see a newspaper article, and then it would all come back.
So that was the worst time
for me. It did get more tense after I got out of jail in Spain. It was more tense because I really couldn't believe that you did that. I couldn't believe how determined that you came to Spain.
Yes.
Because I felt you would come again.
No, that was it for me. That was done. And then CPS cocked up, as they always do.
They just decided not to do it.
No,
take action. And why did they decide?
They didn't want to do it in the first place. When we found where you were in Spain, see, it has to go from Sussex CPS to London CPS. They were obstructive. They didn't know what act to do it under, which extradition treaty or whatever. And there was red tape. It took us a month. I knew where you were, or knew the area where you were, for at least a month. And it took a month for us to get CPS in London to do the paperwork, to a stage where Interpol would take action. And it was like a salmon swimming up a stream. Every red tape, every corner we tried to try and sort out, no, you can't do this, you can't do that, you need this, you need a magistrate, you need this, you need that, everything, all the way up to the point where eventually we got the green light to go with Interpol and do what we did. After that, nothing to do with me. The only time that I would have got involved again is if you'd have been extradited back to England, and I would have tried to interview you again, believe it or not, because I'd had to, because we hadn't finished what we did before. I'd have had to have put those things to you. You'd have said nothing, I know, but I'd have had to have done that, and then I'd have charged you. So, for your benefit and for the benefit of the
Did you interview Adrian?
Not again.
No, but you interviewed him at one point, didn't
Only
you?
when you were there.
And what did he do on interview?
Nothing, said nothing. No comment.
No comment? No comment.
The only thing that you've got to understand here is that if you'd have come back on January the 12th, you'd have been charged.
I'd have been charged and you'd have objected to bail.
No.
On the grounds that I had my flat for sale.
Definitely
you would
not.
have done. You would have done.
Definitely not.
You would have done.
No, look, we're sitting here now. Look, I am out of the police 4 years. I'm telling you now, no way. No way would we have got you locked up. Not for that. The only way we could have shown or got you locked up is if you had absconded for bail and been caught, or we could show that there was an imminent likelihood of you leaving the country.
Well, there was.
No,
because I had a new copy of my passport.
Yeah.
And I had a buyer for my flat.
Yeah, but you can do that any time. You don't have to. I can sell my flat from South Africa. I don't have to be in the country to sell it.
No, I know.
So
but that's where I resided. That's where I'd be bailed to.
No, yeah, but you can
go
any time.
That's where I was bailed to.
But you can go at any time. You can go at any time.
No, I don't buy that at all. I don't buy that at all. You would definitely have gone to have me remanded.
No,
definitely.
Anyway, we will agree to differ here. Even if I'd have wanted to get you remanded, I wouldn't have been able to.
Well, you don't know that.
I do, because I deal with these all the time.
I know, but it's not up to the police.
I've got burglars.
The police can't say whether someone's remanded or not. You have to object to bail
it's the police that
and take them
precisely.
to court.
And I've had burglars that have been nicked 3 times in a week given bail. Because they come up.
I think that's quite rare, because I find that the bench usually do exactly what the CPS or the coppers ask. Yes, officer, no, officer, absolutely, officer. That's what it looks like from where I sit.
Well, actually, in reality, it's not like that. Seriously. But
that's because
we will agree to differ.
You would like them to say yes 100% of the time, and they probably say no to like 1%, and so you think...
But anyway, you would have got charged, because I'd had, even if you'd said nothing, I'd have charged you. You'd have been on bail to go to court. If you then absconded, that's up to you. If you go again after that, in fact, it's easier for me. If you're going to abscond, you should have. I'd rather you absconded after January the 12th, not before. Now, I was surprised that you went when you did, because...
That was the whole point. You weren't supposed to know I was going.
No.
You would have stopped me, wouldn't you?
But I was surprised, because thinking I knew you quite well at the time, I thought you'd have come and at least seen where we were going. You obviously thought if I charged you, you were going to get banged up.
There were other things that were going on that you weren't aware of. Other people that were involved, they were quite clearly going, well, he seems to like you. It's nothing to do with me.
Right.
And I thought, I don't like the look of this.
No. Okay. But you did. So that's that's where we were. I mean, you would have been charged and then gone through the normal procedure. So once you're in Spain, once they've got you, again, I can't go near you. I can't even talk to anybody about where you are, what you're doing, when you're coming back. I'm kept. The CPS in London deal with it, and Interpol deal with it, and I'm kept out of the loop. A bit like Tyrone Bishop.
Who are Interpol? I mean, do they actually exist, or is it just like a French copper brings an English copper?
There's an organisation that deals with liaisons between the relevant countries.
Oh, there are people.
Yeah.
Is it a big organisation?
Based up at Scotland Yard.
Is it?
So you're nicked. You're down there. I'm back in England, waiting for some news as to what's going to happen with you if and when you're coming back. Blah blah blah. Then obviously you get released on
but
bail.
you quoted in the papers while I was in there as sort of what seemed to me as a back down, saying, "Oh, I hope she gets out and she'll probably won't get extradited." There was an article in the Observer.
Can I tell? Yeah, because I had a chat with another. She was very good actually. The Observer lady was better, I think, than some of the others.
I don't know, because she lied to the caretaker at my mum's flats and said she was a school friend of my sister's, and she broke in.
But you'd been on the run for 2 years. Now you might have wanted to go touring around Holland, France, and Spain. I don't know. That might have been your choice.
Yeah, I was planning to leave England.
That's fine. I actually felt that, let's just look at this. If you'd have been charged on January the 17th, gone to court and got convicted, you would have got a heavy fine, possibly a suspended sentence. Right? You would never have gone to prison for that, ever. Okay.
I think you forget the kind of charges you were flinging around, the suggestion that you were making. You were making some pretty heavy allegations.
I think at the end of the day, you possibly wouldn't have even got a custodial. So the fact that 2 years later you're travelling around Europe in a caravan with children, on the run, looking over your shoulder, this is how my perception, not yours, my perception, was actually, and then I caught you, well I say I caught you, we caught you.
Someone grasped.
Yeah, someone grasped, caught you, there you are, it's done, that's me done.
Yeah, but I didn't know that. I just thought, where the hell did that come from? I really didn't expect
me done.
that.
I turned away. I saw Graham, obviously, quite rightly losing his rank.
Did the website have anything to do with you? There was a website, wasn't there? Which the media made a big to-do about. Did that have any influence over you at all? Because the media made a big song and dance about that.
See, nothing has influence over me. You were a challenge, a good challenge to me, and I liked challenges, okay? You sort of stuck two things up to me and said, "I'm off. Goodbye."
But
that's to me. That's how I felt. So you've gone, right? Bugger, she's gone, right? Now, yes, I could have just said, "Oh well, one day she'll turn up again." I could do a Dave West, right? Because that's what Dave West does. And next time she comes, But I knew, because I'm experienced, that the witnesses I had, active live witnesses I had at you at the time, wouldn't be there in a year's time. Well, they would, but they wouldn't be.
You didn't have a load of other cases backing up and think I'm too busy for this.
I did. No, I did. But it still sits there, Fiona. You've got to do something with it. Well, you've gone. I've not interviewed you again. You're wanted. Now, I've either got to stick it away in a corner and wait for you to turn up, or actively pursue you. How do I actively pursue you when you're abroad? I can't, because they don't let me. So how am I going to...
It wouldn't have taken very long for certain people to have realised I left with Graham.
I knew you left with Graham.
Now, certain people, not you, certain people wouldn't have liked that at all. And I think it might have turned certain people bitter, and they'd have been whispering in your ear, encouraging you, colouring your judgment about what maybe even making you think that I was even worse than I was.
You were never worse in my eyes.
Couldn't get any worse, right?
No, you weren't. Look, you've got to understand something here. You know, you were somebody. Actually, the sort of offence that you were alleged to have committed interests me. I think it's very clever. I mean, from what I saw of this particular investigation, it was well done. It was well set up. Okay, as far as my investigation goes.
Yeah.
I actually.
Well, whoever was behind it,
Yeah.
I'm sure you're right.
I
don't know. I didn't have the
No, of course you didn't.
opportunity to sit and study what had happened, like you did.
But I actually admired the way you were set up. I thought it was a very, very
Right.
good operation. So you were part of that investigation. So all of you and Bishop. See, you think I've just forgotten about Bishop? I was told.
It did feel a little bit like it was only me.
No. We came
He
down.
was on the run before me.
2 days after you were arrested. After you were arrested for the first time, we staked out your flat. We were all round there for about a day.
Hang on, when I was first arrested.
When we arrested you and took your property and took you to the police station and you said nothing,
Yeah.
before you came back on for the ID parades. So very quickly after you were arrested,
that was a few weeks later, wasn't it?
So the very first time you got arrested, a few days later, right, we were all down there. I put the whole office and we sat out waiting for Tyrone Bishop to come and visit you.
And what did you see?
Didn't see anything.
Didn't see anybody coming or going?
Yeah, we saw you go to a Fisher's off licence in a van.
In a van. Oh, I know where we were all going.
Yeah, right. And
you came round the next day, didn't you? That's when you phoned me up and said, I'm going to give you your gold pen back. And then you phoned back and you said, I've changed my mind, I'm going to nick you instead. And I thought, I'd never known.
Did I say that?
Yeah, I thought, I'd never known a copper say that before. What? Adrian couldn't wait to get out of the flat. He was gone like Roadrunner. And then I went out to go and you boxed me in and we went in the flat for a chat.
Mm.
So you were staking the flat out?
For Bishop. So
Bishop.
you don't think that we were looking for him, but we were.
No, well it didn't feel like you were looking for him, because if you were, you weren't doing a very good job.
We were definitely looking for him, and I would have got him fairly quickly until I got warned off.
Who warned you off?
People that were looking at him for other matters.
Yeah, but what department? You could surely, to goodness, you don't even work for the police anymore, you can say what
It
department.
actually came from our intelligence bureau. So I don't know where it comes.
Intelligence bureau?
Well, everything.
Is it all like on the computer?
No, all your information gets put on forms and subject to a central area, gets dissected, looked at, and bits put out and sent to relevant people that it needs to go to. You don't actually know where it all comes from.
Right.
Because there's a good reason for that as well. I was told that he was being looked at for other matters involving drugs,
Right.
and to leave it a few days.
Right.
And very shortly after that, he got arrested.
But they never
in France.
said I was involved in drugs, did they? Because one of the
Never,
papers
no.
tried to make out that I had an ex-boyfriend, I was trying to get drug smuggling, and I had left another one on bail. And I think a lot of people always thought, oh, so she was into that as well, and I wasn't.
No, that came from your I think, future allegiance with Graham. Obviously, Graham had a record for something. That's where that came from. No, Bishop was being actively sought by me.
And another thing, I mean, at the time, did you have anybody say anything about Graham?
No. I've always liked Graham.
No,
Always
but
liked
no
Graham.
one was suggesting he was under surveillance or anybody was watching him. Just Tyrone.
Just Tyrone. Now, Tyrone, he then gets nicked in some field in France in his aeroplane, right, by the gendarmerie, and that's the last I see of him. I even asked to go over to the French prison to interview him. I could not. He got 18 months.
He didn't get 18 months, he did 18 months and they released him without charge.
Yeah, they do it differently over there. I don't know how
He was
they.
never convicted,
No,
never
I
charged.
don't know how they do it. So, there was a chief inspector at Interpol that I was liaising with, who promised me the day he would be released, I would know about it. I found out he'd been released 2 weeks after he'd actually been released from France, and he'd gone. And that is Tyrone Bishop. So, you gone, Tyrone Bishop's in prison, I can't get to him.
It's all looking pretty hopeless.
No, Adrian Matthews is free.
What was your take of Adrian?
Didn't like him.
Well, can't you be more specific than that? You just didn't like him.
Didn't like him.
I thought you really liked him. I thought you felt sorry for him.
No, we had an interest in flying, that's all. I didn't know. I didn't like Adrian. I knew about his previous misdemeanours as well.
But you seem to be being a lot nicer to him.
I'm nicer to everybody.
Then you weren't nice to me. You wouldn't give me back my pen.
No, but I was nice to. I was nice to you.
You could have done. You actually said we could
This
sell
pen.
that
This
off.
pen is a.
Can't you get it back for me?
Do you know what? I don't know how to now. I wouldn't know how to. What happened about? There's so much of this going on.
Lost sitting in a basement somewhere. And Sussex police gathering dust.
Terrible. Sue them. I'll help you. No, I'll help them.
Suing them.
I'll help you. Oh, your pen. Find it. What are they going to do? Say Steve Gray lost
you
it?
stole it, wouldn't they? They'd
Yeah,
say
well,
you
they
took
can
it with
try.
him when he left. Talking of when you left, so you retired from the police.
No.
How did that happen?
Didn't
What
retire
happened?
from the police.
What happened?
Again, I was doing my job. I was investigating a serious allegation. There was a woman involved who was involved in the allegation, but she was the victim, not the person that was alleged to have been the victim. Come down to clever people, calculated and criminals. He was a loss adjuster.
Oh, no.
Insurance loss adjuster. So he was used to investigating things and looking for things that don't quite make sense. So he actually played it quite well.
No.
He was ahead of us all the time.
So I take it there's an intricate story there,
No,
which
I'm not
obviously
going to
you'd
go into it
rather
now.
not go into.
But there again, at the end of the day, a colleague of mine got arrested for perverting the course of justice. Jeepers, I tell you. I mean, over the years, I could tell you a couple of times that maybe I've.
Is it a common thing then? When they want to get rid of a police officer, is that the sort of thing they would go
Well,
for?
because you're dealing with investigative type matters all the time, like you or anybody else, if anything goes wrong with one of these investigations that you've been accused of maybe distorting or not doing something properly, you've changed the course of that investigation.
Right.
Now that can easily become perverting the course of justice.
Right, so that's what they were accusing you of.
Yeah.
And you'd seen this happen to other police officers before.
Oh yeah. So now, Steve Skerritt, who is actually only trying to do his job, right? They believe the word of somebody who makes allegations and threatens to go to the newspapers.
So that's what happened. Someone threatened to go to the newspapers.
News of the world.
They thought, oh, this is the Fiona Monk copper. What's the media
No,
going
not
to
so
make
much
of
that.
it?
With all due respect, Fiona, I don't think that was quite.
But you'd already been splashed all over Crime Watch.
Yeah, but you know, so other policemen. The fact is that I'm quite well known, right? Because of what you do and how you do it, you're quite well known. So they did not want an allegation, and also, you see, the girl involved, the woman involved, is Wanda. So there was some, and now I'm involved with Wanda, and I'm dealing with the investigation, dealing with the bloke that's made the allegation.
Right.
So even though
Should you not have said,
I did,
I've got a conflict of
I did.
interest here, someone else should be dealing with this?
correct, and that's been detailed and documented, but they didn't know about it. That had all been done.
Right.
I wasn't dealing with it anymore,
Oh, someone else was dealing with it. Right.
and it was documented that way.
And I read in the papers that you were arrested at work.
Yeah.
What happened?
When we arrested you, there was me, there was a Deputy Fliss, yeah, and a couple of uniforms. Graham, who's Graham?
I don't know, I only know his name's Graham. He said, hello, I'm Graham. It was quite nice.
Yeah.
He was the one who didn't want to bag my passport.
Oh, right.
He felt it was
Okay.
against the rules, and you said, it's all right, I'll sign for it.
Do you know who arrested me?
No?
There
David
wa-
West.
No.
That'd be
There
funny, wouldn't
there was a chief superintendent, 2 superintendents, 3 detective chief inspectors, 2 DIs, 2 DSs, about 12 DCs, and they must have had traffic cars on
All at Stenning Police Station.
all points around in case I did a runner.
At Stenning Police Station. How on earth did they all fit in that tiny
They
building?
didn't. They were all over the place.
So you go into work,
Yeah.
you sit down at your desk, and then
No. As I'm going in, I can see them.
as you're going in. And did they bend you over, cuff you up? No? What did they say to you?
I'm under arrest. For
What
perverting the course of
was going
justice.
through your mind? When
Oh, I knew because
Oh, you knew it was coming?
No, I didn't know it was coming, but soon, because of the Simon that had also been arrested for perverting, and we were the only ones dealing with the other side of this investigation, and they very quickly asked for my laptop and various different things. So it was clear very quickly. Oh no, I think they actually told me on an allegation made by the chap.
Right.
So as soon as they mentioned his name, I knew what was going on. And that was it.
Is he quite a high up bloke?
Who?
The fella.
No. He had a very successful business,
Right.
made lots of money.
He doesn't play golf or anything like that.
And that's the story. And basically, they charged me for the cause of justice. Actually, during the whole investigation, it turned out the actual disciplinary complaints department was corrupt as anybody that I know have ever met in my entire life. There was an external investigation into them, which stalled everything. The DI that arrested
Sounds
me.
like you should write a book.
The guy that arrested me, was actually a friend of mine. I was his football manager.
Well, he shouldn't have been there, should he? That's a conflict.
But we all know each other.
isn't it?
That's a
Very
problem.
incestuous. isn't
Yeah,
it?
when it comes to that. So he arrests me, and he does it very well, very, very properly. 4 days later, we still don't know the reason why, he actually punched his chief inspector at headquarters.
No.
Yeah?
Did he get arrested for assault?
He got arrested.
Arrested and everyone's arrested.
Pleaded
Everyone else.
in-
I'm surprised that
he-
it didn't soar.
He went gribble. He went gribble. He played down. In the end, they pensioned him off and didn't prosecute him.
And you didn't get prosecuted, did you?
No, but I got disciplined
What's that?
for confidence.
Right. Left. You resigned.
They did a deal with me. That was no problem. We sorted it out. Plead guilty to confidential, and you're fine. Pleaded guilty, and they double backed, and we can ask you to resign. That's exactly what we try and do to people. To me.
How did it feel? 24 years stress and seeing all the dirty tricks they pulled.
Well,
When you knew you'd been doing that to people for 24 years. That talk about a role reversal.
it's a definite role reversal. You actually see the impact it has on other people and other people's lives more than anything. Everybody does it. They conned me at the end, as I said. Basically said, take a guilty plea, because I was going to call all the witnesses, and the dirty washing that would come out would have embarrassed Sussex Police for years to come. So they didn't want to do that. So they actually gave me an out and gave themselves an out, which would have let me go quietly into the night with
And
my
then
pension.
they turned it round and
They stab you in the back, which they can do. It's a bit like a job. You know, if you employ people, if you don't actually want somebody, you can get rid of them. There's laws, employment laws, but you can actually do what you need to do. They played the game. They conned my barrister, told him that this is what would happen, but he made a mistake. He didn't get it recorded properly, signed before, and then they turned, which is fine. They achieved what they wanted to achieve. They got rid of me. I would have gone anyway. If they'd have gone
Do you
quietly.
think they hushed your arrest over in the media?
Oh yeah,
Or
they
do you
didn't.
think
They did not want to talk about it at all.
They didn't, because the Argus were the only ones who did it, and it was a little itty bitty
And even
article.
he, yeah.
And they have deleted that from their online archives. And when I spoke to the Argus, they rang me to interview me years later about, when I was found in the pub. And I said, why did you delete that off your online archives? Oh, we haven't. They just denied it. And I said, well, it's not there. You have. No, don't know any. How do they do that? How do the police...
Wasn't me.
No, I believe you, it wasn't you. But somebody
Because
very powerful can say to the newspapers, we do not want you to report on something that's embarrassing.
Well, you got to understand something. You are at the mercy of corporate media and government. If they don't want something to happen, you're not ever going to change it.
Do you think the media go along with these sort of ideas?
No, the media
because
are powerful.
to a certain extent, they have to keep the police on side to get juicy information, good
Yeah, they
stories.
do.
So do you think the media sort of depict coppers as these shiny heroes for
I
that
think so,
reason?
Sometimes. They're also very quick to castrate them and knock them down and say how bad they
I
are.
haven't seen many articles
No,
like that.
they
It's
are,
always
they
the
are.
glorious police officer, the evil, dirty villain.
But actually, what is a police
They're all
officer?
thick, low achievers, aren't they?
What is a police officer? What is he?
An upholder of the law is the
What is he?
ideal scenario,
Yeah, no,
isn't it? But I
more-
mean, you and I know it's...
More than anything, what is he? He's an ordinary bloke or girl who've actually got their own problems They've got their own bloody ways of life. That they are governed by a code, by a law, and by a commitment, but can easily change within the circumstances of their job.
They can't say we're only human, prick us and do we not bleed and all that with one hand, and then say we never make a mistake on the other hand and silence things in the newspapers. I was just astounded the way they silenced your arrest, not because, well, at the time, partly I was loving it.
You'd have loved
thought,
it, yeah.
Great,
No,
let him have a bit.
Yeah.
But looking back on it, how many other incidents occur within the police that are silenced in the same way?
It's dirty washing, isn't it? It's dirty washing. Do you want the media and the public to know what goes on? No. So you can silence it. Do you want to find Fiona Mon? Actually, yeah, we do. Okay, let's go for it. There's a difference. I fought a battle my own battle for 2 years with them.
2 years it went on?
Yeah, 2 years.
So that must have been going on...
Well, 2002.
During the
it
time
happened
when
in
you came
November
out.
2002 and I left in June 2004. It's 2 years.
Did you leave that late? Oh, I thought that you left... Oh, of course you were arrested much earlier than that.
November
so it must have been going on.
2002.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
I finally left in June 2004.
Right.
So
I had
were you
2...
suspended over that period?
Yeah.
So on full pay?
Yeah.
That's a bit of a result, isn't it? Can you get another job while you're doing that? So you've got double income?
No, not really.
You're not allowed?
No. You can, but if you get caught then they stop your pay.
Oh, I see, you're not allowed. No.
No, you're not technically allowed to do that. But no. So, yeah, well, 2 years I was fighting disciplinary complaints, the police authority, Sussex police, the people that were bloody dealing with me had more skeletons in their cupboard than bloody the graveyard around the corner at bloody Hoe Cemetery.
Have you ever thought of writing a book?
What's the point? Who's
Make money.
Nobody wants to listen because
no, they don't. You're right. You're not wrong there.
I phoned Steve Wright up, right, and said, "Do you want a good story, right, about Sussex Police? Do you want to
no.
know?
Been denoticed.
Want to know? Can't do that.
I know. Tell me about it.
So, look, it's all a game. Everybody plays the game. Everybody has their own stories to tell within the game. I'm very, very practical as far as I'm concerned. They did me the biggest favour in my life. I spent the next 2 years seeing the world as it should be, realising who your friends are, and actually this environment that you're in is false. Yeah, it is false.
Yeah.
They don't appreciate. Some of them do. Some of them have had careers outside, but they don't really appreciate the influence they have on people's lives. They treat it very matter of fact and very. That's a job. You know, who cares? We do this. It achieves this result. They don't ever really consider the implications of what they're doing or what they're doing. And if I'd have known what I know now, would I have been done 29 years in the police? No, I wouldn't.
If you knew what you knew now, would you have chased me all over Europe?
Yeah.
Would you? You still think I'm that bad?
No, not that bad at all.
Oh, right.
So where's this bad coming from? It's not
Well,
bad.
I don't know. I mean, good cop or bad guy.
No.
So
You were just a challenge. You were just, and you put the gauntlet to me. You did. Whether or not you thought you did or not.
Well, yeah. I suppose the smiley faces and.
No, just leaving like you did, and just bugging off and disappearing. No, of course I would have done. I'd chased you. What I wouldn't have done, I wouldn't have got into this. Your family, your life.
Yes, I never really knew what relevance.
That came from the media. They, as soon as we said we're going to do a program on Fiona Mond, I gave them the information about They found everything else out themselves.
Oh no, West knew certain things about my family.
Whatever.
He made big do once about my mum being in Debrett. I never even heard of Debrett.
Whatever. I didn't give them any of that information. That was that their researchers went out knocking on doors, reading papers, and doing a lot. So that side of it was not tasteful, I don't think. I knew that somebody would glass you up eventually.
They always do, don't they?
They always do.
What do you think of grasses? All the time you're a copper, do coppers really like grasses, or do they think they're contemptible little worms? Lower than the accused?
When you get in a car, to drive somewhere. Car serves a purpose. Okay? When you're investigating people that sit there and say nothing because they can by our law whether that's right or wrong, I'm not going to debate, but actually can sit there and say nothing. Yeah, this is not you. I'm not talking about you here. The way the world is run and the way the world gets through is by information. Information.
I know,
that's why
but
the
that's
media.
not what I asked, is
that's
it?
why the media are so powerful.
Do you admire police informants?
Do I admire them? No. Do I understand them? Yes.
Well, they do it for all different reasons.
Of course they do.
But I mean, it's always a yellow belly act, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose you could call it that. Yeah.
Because
It's a bit like-
it's all anonymity. They don't have to put their face up.
But in America, you sit there. Let's take Graham for instance. He's sitting there. He's banged to rights on something, and I say to him, "You can do 20 years, or you can do 5 years." What are you
You
going to
never
do?
had anyone like that in my case, did you?
No.
You know,
But what are you going to do? No. Very carefully. I know it does go on personality and how you view things. But you were sitting there looking at, and by the way, your wife as well, right? She was involved. We haven't looked at her yet, but we could do her for conspiracy as well. So you get 20 years, and then I'd
well,
actively
you said
chase.
something similar to me.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You said to me when you came round in the flat, a lot of this can go away if you tell me what I want to know.
Yeah, of course.
And I really didn't know what you were talking about. No, I really didn't.
No, that's fine.
But I got the impression you were talking about him or something that Tyrone was up to.
No, you.
You said.
I know Tyrone was up. Tyrone, we believe.
You said
was,
you wanted to know about Graham.
No, Tyrone.
And I had no idea what you were talking about.
I didn't know Graham then. You were with
Oh,
Adrian.
you did know Graham. You
No, we
met
didn't.
Graham down here.
Yeah, well, yeah, but we didn't know that you were involved in each other.
So you hadn't sat off and watched the fact that we were all friends down
No.
the airport?
No. So you give us far too much credence, Fiona. I said you give us far too much credence.
You think so?
I do. Adrian was your boyfriend. Tyrone Bishop was your ex-boyfriend. Graham was the owner or
My
runner of the
future
flight.
boyfriend.
Yeah, but we didn't know that at the time.
No, you didn't, did you?
Did you know that at the time?
Oh, I quite liked him, yeah.
Well, there you
I
go.
fancied him,
There
of
you
course.
go.
I kept it quiet, though.
So no, Graham wasn't part of this. I was talking about Tyrone Bishop. I wanted you to give me Tyrone Bishop.
Oh, right. But
Yeah,
I
that-
didn't know what he was doing.
Of course you didn't.
No, seriously, I didn't.
Of course you didn't. No, it's fine. So when these people pick you out as Vanessa King, working at the business centre where all this scam was going on, that was just them getting it wrong, was it?
You'd be surprised what explanations there are.
And let's don't go down there. But needless to say is informants are a necessary part of the police and intelligence services.
No, but I'm just saying, the general consensus within the police, do they loathe them and think,
Yeah, they're more troubled than they're worth. Because they always want something, they always want more. They want this, they want protecting, they
they're
want this.
contemptible, aren't they?
Yeah, I'd say that they're there.
Yeah.
They're there.
Yeah.
And they're a fact of life, like a lot of things. A fact of life.
Yeah. Is there anything that you wanted to ask? Because I think we've covered just about
I think
everything.
so, yeah. Gee, that's a long one, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
Jesus. How are you going to edit this? You're not going to put this on an hour and a half
Oh
on the
no,
main film.
joking.
Well, you choose the best bits.
Yeah, of
What we're going
course.
to do is this fella from the TV. I think we'll make something up and see what he thinks.
You're going to get this to the TV?
No, we'll copyright it. What do you think?
Whatever you want to do. Do what you want to do. I said to you, this was... Do you know what? You haven't asked me whether... You see, I felt guilty in Spain.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Because I knew that, as I said to you before, you had been turned from this quite clever, suspected fraudster, yeah, which I consider to be actually quite a well thought out enterprise.
I'll have to take your word for it because I don't know anything
No, of
about
course you
that
don't.
enterprise.
So I thought, so actually, you talked to me about, did I dislike you that much? And actually, I actually quite respected you for what that looked. That was a pretty good scam as far as I was concerned. I was going to catch you. I was going to try and prosecute you. Don't get me wrong here, right? So no, I mean, as I said to you before, I decided to go public with it, and then it got taken out of my hands. All right, taken right out of my hands. As soon as we went public on ITV, boom, you're now Sussex Police top wanted bloody woman person who's running around Europe with Graham Hesketh on a run, you know. Glamorous, Bonnie and Clyde, isn't it, story time. And so the whole situation was taken out of control. I get information where you are, I try and deal with it properly, and I don't. I've got to go to some backstreet paper and some bloke that wants a story to actually catch you. Right, so I'm dealing with these people as well now. I'm not just dealing with my own bosses and forces inadequacies. I'm now dealing with a Daily Mail newspaper who's only interested in one thing.
Who gave you the photograph?
Turn it off.
Turn it off, Graham. Well, that's not going to mean anything to me, is it?
It is, because you turned around, well, what's not? On my children's
Oh,
life.
I don't know you from Adam, really, do I? I mean, you could be liable to say that kind of thing all the time.
No,
I
I'm
don't
not.
believe that you were just looking for a family computer.
Family computer, my computer. And it was cheap. It was without VAT.
Bargain basement.
And even when I left your flat, you had me taken in. Adrian and you had me taken in. I went back to the office, right, and I said to Andy Lukowski, I said, bloody got a good deal, I'm going to go and get that. This is, right. God's honest truth. I said, mind you, they've got a few. They'd had a Chicago, and he said, and one of the makes that I mentioned, he says, oh, that rings a bell. Because it's quite unusual, some of these makes, for us, it's quite unusual. Yeah. You can sit there and laugh if you want.
So
That's
go on,
exactly-
Yeah.
David West.
Did David West, was I a target for David West?
Of course you were. He
How badly do you think he wanted?
more than anybody else.
Did he have a big, thick file on me?
I don't know, because he wouldn't show it to me. But what he did tell me, obviously he was very, very keen on our investigation.
Had you ever met him before you
Yeah,
arrested me?
no, I'd met David a couple of
Oh,
times.
so you knew him?
I knew what he did. He was the financial, Sussex Police financial investigator.
Right.
Sat in an office and mainly does the work of office, talking to banks and financial institutions.
So when you must have had a meeting with him at some point.
No, because when I found out who you were, yeah, i.e. after our conversation in your
After
flat,
you came to buy your family computer. Yeah.
precisely, when I checked you on our systems, his name was all over you.
Right.
This information was submitted by Dave West. This information was submitted. So obviously he's the person to go and talk to. So I went to him and said, we're investigating this, what can you tell me about her?
And what did he say?
She did it.
Just like that, she did it.
You're on the right track.
Without checking any evidence or anything, she definitely did it.
What's it
I
about?
didn't stand a chance from the outset.
What's it about? That's the sort of thing she'd do.
Right.
There you go. So that's it.
Okay.
Do you want any more coffee?
Yeah, go on. Have a good week.
Oh,
Back in
yeah.
there.
Let's,
No, if you can use this on, we'll do what you want with it. It's fine. It's fine.
yeah, we'll have to see how much of it is usable.
Well, we've got another.
Well, I think we could wrap it up, Graham. I think.
What else do you want to talk about, Graham? I mean,
I don't know.
we've talked about the media, haven't we? With
So it
Is
takes
there
a
anything
while.
else that you want to add?
No, as I said, this was. I'm not being, I'm not being magnanimous here. This was a
have
must
the
for
TV
you.
people ever asked you to do a programme since you left the force?
I
You've
said,
been approached.
they can't find me.
Right. Have they ever offered you money?
No.
Have you ever asked them for money?
No.
It's like
Oh,
getting
you
blood out of a
should.
stone, isn't it?
No.
You should. Why do it for free? I mean, the people who put you all over the...
Can I tell you something? People have got this fascination with being paid for what they do. You know, don't get me wrong, job's a job.
It's a practicality of life, isn't it?
Yeah, and I bring it back to you. Mention £300,000 worth of computer equipment, and you become suddenly important because it's a figure,
Yeah.
money. The fact that it was a couple of forget what it was now, Dells or Compacts or Chicagos, and it was quite, it was a credit scam or whatever, it doesn't make any difference. The fact is that you mentioned value of £300,000, and somebody puts it as important. Was it important?
What, money? No, money's not important.
So you're talking about now making people pay for stuff,
No.
but as I said to you before, if it would have been £30 worth of computer equipment,
Well, it doesn't sound very exciting
No.
at all, does it, from the media's point of view?
does it? So, but does it? The bloke that goes into a shop and nicks a Mars bar and comes out. The bloke that goes in and takes £1,000 from the till and goes out. What's the difference?
Value.
What's the difference in approach? What's the difference in sentence? What's the difference in how it's dealt with? The bloke, the Mars bar, the 27p Mars bar, it's more now, isn't it, though, 40p. 27p. No, I don't imagine. 27p Mars bar, right? He's just as guilty as the bloke that nicked £1,000. But he's not, because £1,000 means it's worth more. So where's the difference?
Thousands of Mars bars worth, isn't it?
Where's the difference?
Yeah, it's all money. Everything is about money, isn't it? I don't have any value on money. And what I do know is when the media have a go at you, and you're on the wrong side of them, they can cause you so much shit. I've had so many idiots come walking up to me saying all sorts of stupid things because of what, as if they know about my case, what I was accused of. So I figure if they're going to cause that kind of rumpus to my family, they should pay us, because then at least we can go away on holiday the week after and we can get out of the, you know what it's like, it dies down, it's yesterday's news. So it wouldn't give us buttons. They wouldn't even give us the money to cover our losses for not being at work during the day that we're doing the filming. They wouldn't give us anything.
They'll have it for nothing, but they don't want it otherwise.
What do you think about the fact that, I don't know about you, Graham, because I don't know what you're doing at the moment, but for 29 years I pay my tax, my national insurance, and depending on what you earn, you might pay £6,000 to £10,000 a year to the government, right? My wife, she is a forensic accountant, she's an accountant, she works for she did work for the top bankers in the city. She's
a forensic accountant?
Well, she can be, yeah.
What's that?
That's where you look at big company, frauds and stuff.
Right.
But not criminal investigations yet, but possible ones. But she's also a very good accountant and does all the tax laws and stuff like that. Her boss earned £12.5 million in 2006. £12.5 million. How much did he pay in tax, Graham?
Probably nothing.
£2,900. Really? Now, is that criminal?
There's something wrong there, isn't there?
No, it's quite clever,
isn't
it?
Because
he doesn't have to pay as much tax. You're just jealous.
No, listen.
Because you wish you could do that.
Listen, is that... Now, talk about fairness and morality and doing things properly, right? I told you about the Mars bar and the £1,000.
Yeah.
Right? Because some law says he can loop it round various different companies, he doesn't pay anything, right? And yet you're common and ordinary, every guy, and I'm not talking about a policeman now, your guy in the street that goes to work from 9 to 5, who gets hounded for his tax and his national insurance, and if he misses a payment or something happens, gets prosecuted immediately or fined heavily if he doesn't put his tax return in. Yeah, this particular guy who is using other people's money to make himself money pays nothing.
Don't you think good for him?
No. If everybody else had the opportunity to do what he does, yeah, that's fair.
So you don't like him as a person?
No, I like him. He's a very nice guy.
So why don't you just think good for him?
Because I'm trying to show you
it's jealousy.
The perception.
It's jealousy, isn't it?
No, it's
because
perception.
You think, hey, I can't get away with that.
But I do now.
I've
been doing it for 4 years now. So I do.
But lots of people, the man on the street.
No. You go into your own business and you can fiddle, not fiddle, you can place and hide, yeah? If you're working for anybody and being paid, PAYE. And you're the one that's keeping the NHS and the government going. And people that earn millions and millions of pounds don't pay a penny.
I couldn't care less.
You couldn't?
I couldn't care less who pays what tax. I really couldn't care less.
Why?
Because I've got my own life to lead, and why should I worry about what other people pay, or jealousy and all that?
It's not jealousy. I think I'm trying to go back to the Mars bar and £1,000.
If I see someone driving a Mercedes, well, no, I'm not so keen on them, but if I see someone driving a top of the range Lexus, I think I like that car. I want to be able to have that car. What's that person done with their lives? And I might look at their life and think, how have they succeeded where I've failed? How can I be more like them? I wouldn't think, oh bastard, I'm going to grasp him. He's got to be on a scam. Has he got tax on his car? I couldn't be that kind of person. Call me a criminal and all that. I just couldn't.
No, I agree. I'm just trying to point out to you where the emphasis comes on you. Now you're telling why was I targeted? Why was I suddenly this bad girl? Yeah. Well, for a start, £300,000 was mentioned. Yeah, so it's quite a lot of money. Secondly, where do you come from?
Someone had the wrong setting on their calculator, didn't they?
Where do you come from? What family do you come from? What's your history?
My family weren't rich though.
Of course they weren't. I'm not saying they were, but they were known and well known. So where do you come from? And then can we put a stamp on this? Actually, nice family, well brought up, lots of money on the criminal investigation. By the way, she's obviously a bad girl. She's obviously the black sheep of the family. What a story!
Right.
Fantastic. So all comes away from me and you in this investigation and what I was doing to your family, you, your past, etc., etc. And that's where we are, and that's where we go. And then everything else, and of course, and I'll be honest with you as well, and maybe quite rightly, the police get the blame for everything, which is normal and sometimes very justified. And actually, we were to blame because I took it to the media in order to try and find you. And once you do that, you open up a bloody
can of worms.
You open up a gate that can't be closed, really, because it's now taken out of your control.
If a TV company did want to do a programme, would you participate in it?
I'm a long way away now, but yeah, of course I could.
Because I've always told them I wouldn't do it unless you agreed to do it.
But what would
Because I
benefit?
think it would just come across as one-sided and...
Yeah, I can see us though, Fiona, again on a TV programme, and sometimes you state things yourself that you think you believe are correct, and you're quite vehement in that. And I know you're not correct, although that's from my perspective, not from yours. So I could see us ending up bloody
having quite a row
about certain things. So this is fine. You can edit this, and we're in a room, and it's just three of us. But yeah. I don't know. Yeah, of course we would. Under the right conditions, there'd be no problem. Yeah, there'd be no problem. You still don't believe me. I know you don't. There's certain things about
which bit?
Doesn't matter. There's certain things that you would never.
You don't believe me? I didn't do it.
Yes, I do believe. Oh no. No, actually, I don't believe that. No. But I'm talking about slightly different things. Now, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
But that's fine.
Okay.
But you obviously have got this fantastic impression of the police and what they can do and what they know. They're fucking useless.
Like I say, you should always overestimate your enemy. I'll call them the Borg. Do you watch Star Trek?
Yeah, I do. I love Star Trek.
Aren't they like the Borg?
Yeah, they are.
They all think as one.
And you're right there about it, because I underestimated my enemy. I underestimated this bloke.
Well,
I thought I was cleverer than him.
I've done it before myself.
Right, and I thought I could handle him, and he chopped my legs using something that I didn't think he was able to use, and he chopped my legs off, and I couldn't get back up again.
Yeah.
Once he'd done that, I was down, and it was a survival expedition for me. And he did it to me, right?
I think I've left my phone in the toilet.
Oh, I've got to have a look. Is there more coffee going? Because I don't have coffee, and then I'm going to...
Yeah, I'll taste that one up.
No, I've got it. Yeah, I think...
Did you get the Sussex Police fucking wankers on now?